Hello, everyone. Welcome back to UNMASK. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves. And thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my YouTube channel. And thank you to all of you who keep showing up and still listen to me, even though I have been so inconsistent. And I will say, like, it's not an intentional thing, and I've been quite unapologetic about it, but I do value this community, so I'm going to do my best to be more consistent and to actually post frequently. I think the thing is, I'm always trying to like upload when I feel like, yes, the message is like, complete. But one thing that my unmasking journey has shown me is that the message sometimes, like, I'm still learning. There are a lot of things that I'm still unmasking and I'm still learning and going through, and you know so I guess like that whole completeness is just never there, and I just have to accept that. And that's another thing that I'm unmasking, radical acceptance. But in today's diary session, I just want to share something. Yesterday I decided to check up on my friend, just let her know that I was thinking about her. And yeah, and her response made me feel like, whoa, this every time I have an encounter with this girl, like it just feels like God is like the one that made it all happen, because she's like, her response was kind of like, whoa, like to what I said. And I was just checking up on her, and it just seemed like my timing was perfect. And then there is something that she said in her response to me that was something that I needed to hear. And that was like, okay, you're right on time, and I feel like we were both touched in different ways, and I just feel, I choose to believe that that was God did that. Anyway, I guess like what she reminded me that it's okay for me to allow myself to just feel things, and it's also okay to let go. And the other day, I was really frustrated. I just grabbed my pen and just started writing what was in my mind. Sometimes I don't write the full thought because like my mind will work. It's gonna go faster than my hand. So like my handwriting just gets ugly, and then it's like I'm not even writing anymore, and it feels like I'm even like speaking faster in my head. So I just kind of feel like I'm losing the thought. So I try to just write in shorthand, just to keep myself like talking to myself at a steady pace. I don't know if that makes sense. But essentially, I was just reminding myself that I should let go of the need to be in control. And in control is like not just of a specific situation, but of certain outcomes and how things will happen and unfold, and like just this need to be in control. And I think that usually happens to me when I feel, I don't know, like stagnant. Sometimes when I feel stuck, I just want to take charge and do everything, and then like nothing really gets done because I'm like, oh my god, I don't know where to start, and I want to touch everything, and then nothing's really happening. um but I was just reminded to let go of the need to be in control, because when you force things to go your way, you actually, like, to me, this is like what I wrote, when you force things to go your way, you actually delay the things that are meant for you, and you get in the way of God's plan. And what I meant by that is, if I had surrendered, the need to be in control, and I just allow things to unfold, and just open myself up to actually experiencing what it is that God has in store for me, God's plan, allowing that to unfold, like that's what I would experience. But instead, I'm in control. I'm trying to do things my way. And I was also like, just realize that I'm not in control. I have to realize that I'm not in control in certain situations, like I've just decided that I have to take full control of the things that are in my control, but just radically accept that there are certain things that are not in my control and allow myself to let that go. And I think this is also where faith comes in. It's just trusting that things are going to work out. Because when you don't have faith, with faith, you don't even know how, but you just believe and you trust that it will happen. And when you don't have faith, that's where you want to be in control, because you want to know how, you want to do everything and be in charge. I think it's also it's the negative side of that whole mindset of if you want something done right, do it yourself, because there are certain things where it's dude, you can't do this. That's where you need to let go and find the right people who can do that thing. And I think that's how you actually, that's something that's in your control, finding someone who actually has the skill to do the thing you want to do, getting help. And also I had to remind myself that I don't need to know God's plan, because I really think if God told me God's plan, I wouldn't like it and I wouldn't understand it. Because most of the time when you go with I feel whenever we go through certain things that we don't understand or whatever, and then when at the end of it all we see why we had to go through it, those things, and why we had to have certain experiences, and why we lost certain people, and it all makes sense. But in the process of that happening, we're probably fighting. So yeah, I guess this is your reminder to let go of the need to be in control, surrender to God's plan, and allow things to just unfold in the way that they're meant to unfold. And I think instead of trying to do things by yourself, I'm encouraging you to do it with God. And I mean, I know a lot of people are yeah, but we're not all Christians, and whoever it is that you believe in, whatever higher power that you believe in, do it with that, and I think that is just a good way to start. And so with that being said, I just want to kind of start over and be more consistent, but I'm going to do it with God. And I'm not saying that I've been doing this without God. I just haven't been doing it with God, and I hope that I can I can actually do this and deliver. I'm hoping that I can actually be consistent. Well, not even hoping. I'm actually trusting that if I am going to do this with God, I will be consistent. And